Imagine a classroom where the nearest neighbour lives 200 kilometres away, where a teacher might be the only adult some kids see for weeks, besides their own parents, where fresh milk arrives once a fortnight if the supply truck makes it through. These schools exist right now, scattered across the Australian outback, like tiny islands in an ocean of red dirt and spinifex grass. Some have 3 students, some have 1. And in extreme cases, the school exists for a single child living so far from civilization that even the school of the air cannot reach them. Today, we are travelling to the 12 most isolated schools in Australia. Places where education is an act of defiance against geography itself. Where dedicated teachers live months at a time in communities so remote that the internet is a distant dream. If you appreciate documentaries showing the real Australia beyond tourist postcards, subscribe now and activate notifications. Let us begin this journey into the heart of isolation. Number 1. The Cameron Corner School, where Queensland, New South Wales and South Australia meet at a single fence post in the middle of absolutely nothing. The school sits where 3 state borders converge, surrounded by gibber plains stretching to every horizon. The nearest town, Tibooburra, lies 140 kilometres east on a dirt track that becomes impassable after rain. The school services children from cattle stations scattered across an area larger than Belgium. On a typical day, Cameron Corner has between 2 and 5 students. The teacher lives in quarters attached to the weatherboard schoolhouse with its corrugated iron roof that bakes in summer and freezes in winter. No mobile reception exists. Satellite internet runs too slow for streaming. Fresh vegetables arrive once a fortnight if the supply truck makes it through. The teacher handles every grade level simultaneously. A typical morning sees Year 2 phonics happening alongside Year 6 fractions and Year 9 history. The same person is principal, teacher, janitor, and the community's only link to the outside world. What keeps teachers coming to Cameron Corner despite isolation? Many cite the relationships formed with students. In a class of 3, every child receives individual attention, impossible in metropolitan schools. Students often thrive academically because of this intensity, but the challenges are real. Medical emergencies require the Royal Flying Doctor Service. Severe weather cuts the school off for weeks. Some teachers last 1 term, others stay years, becoming part of the landscape itself. Number 2. The Tibooburra Public School in far northwest New South Wales, where temperatures regularly exceed 45 degrees Celsius. Tibooburra is one of the hottest permanently inhabited places in Australia. Population around 100. The school enrolls 4 to 8 students depending on the year. The brick schoolhouse, painted white to reflect brutal sun, sits on the main street. Air conditioning units run constantly, October through March. Even with cooling, afternoon temperatures inside reach 32 degrees. Students learn to write during cooler mornings because heat makes concentration impossible by midday. Textbooks deteriorate rapidly in heat and dust. Electronic equipment fails frequently. Yet Tibooburra students consistently perform at or above state averages in standardized testing. The teacher attributes this to flexibility and adaptation. Science classes study desert ecology. Geography becomes lived experience. Mathematics tackles water conservation and stock route distances. The school is the social heart of the community. Christmas concerts see every resident attend. The school is not just education, but the glue holding the town together. Number 3. The Birdsville State School in far southwest Queensland, where the population swells from 100 to 7,000 during the annual race meet. Birdsville sits on the Simpson Desert edge, connected to civilization by the Birdsville Track, a 477-kilometre dirt road through some of Australia's harshest terrain. The school has 3 to 6 students most of the year. What makes Birdsville unique is the radical population fluctuation. For 50 weeks annually, the teacher works with a handful of children in near solitude. Then comes the Birdsville races in September, and 7,000 visitors descend on the town. The contrast is jarring. The modern schoolhouse features solar panels and satellite internet, upgraded in recent years to meet contemporary standards. But facilities cannot change the fundamental challenge of teaching multiple grade levels while also serving as the community's education coordinator. The teacher coordinates School of the Air lessons for children on surrounding stations and manages the extensive library serving the entire region. Students at Birdsville grow up with skills city kids never learn. They can read landscapes, track animals, navigate by stars. They understand diesel mechanics and water conservation. But they may never have visited a shopping mall or ridden a train. The educational philosophy focuses on preparing students for two possible futures. Some will remain in the Outback, taking over family stations. Others will leave for universities in Brisbane or Sydney. The teacher must prepare them for both paths simultaneously. Number 4. The Glenormiston State School, serving one of Australia's largest pastoral leases. Glenormiston Station covers nearly 3,000 square kilometres of Western Queensland. The school at station headquarters teaches children of station workers and managers. Enrolment varies between 2 and 7 students, all living within the station's boundaries. This represents the classic Outback station school model. The teacher lives in provided accommodation, often a small cottage near the main homestead. Supplies arrive monthly via the station's provisions run. Communication with the outside world depends on satellite phone and limited internet. Teaching at Glenormiston requires skills beyond pedagogy. The teacher must be mechanically inclined enough to maintain the school generator. They need medical training to handle injuries until the flying doctor arrives. They should be comfortable with isolation so complete that going a week without seeing another adult is normal. The students at Glenormiston learn differently than their city counterparts. Their playground is measured in square kilometres, not square metres. Recess might involve mustering cattle or checking water troughs. The station itself becomes the classroom for practical subjects. One remarkable aspect of schools like Glenormiston is the multi-generational continuity. Current students sit at desks carved with their grandparents' initials. The teacher might instruct third-generation station families. This creates a deep sense of educational legacy that metropolitan schools rarely achieve. If you are finding these stories compelling, hit subscribe. We cover remote Australian communities every week. Now let us continue deeper into the Outback. Number 5. The Brunette Downs School in the Northern Territory, where the school serves one of the territory's largest cattle stations. Brunette Downs Station sprawls across 12,000 square kilometres of the Barclay tablelands. The school, located at the station homestead, typically teaches between 3 and 10 students, depending on seasonal work patterns. When mustering season brings in additional workers with families, enrolment temporarily increases. This school operates under unique circumstances. Unlike Queensland or New South Wales schools, it falls under Northern Territory education jurisdiction with different requirements and standards. The teacher must navigate these regulations while managing the practical realities of extreme remoteness. The schoolhouse is a transportable building installed decades ago and maintained through constant repairs. It lacks the modern facilities of newer remote schools. Air conditioning runs off the station's diesel generators. Water comes from station bores. The nearest hospital is in Tennant Creek, 400 kilometres to the southwest along the Barclay Highway. Teaching at Brunette Downs means embracing radical flexibility. When the wet season hits, flooding can isolate the station for weeks. The teacher maintains emergency lesson plans that do not require internet or fresh supplies. Education continues even when the outside world becomes unreachable. The students here develop what educators call environmental literacy. They understand landscape management, indigenous knowledge systems, and the complex ecology of semi-arid rangelands. These skills have value that standardized testing cannot measure. When a Year 4 student can identify native grasses and explain their significance to cattle nutrition, that represents genuine learning even if it falls outside curriculum guidelines. Number 6. The Thargominda State School in far southwest Queensland, first town in the southern hemisphere with electric street lighting. Thargominda has a population around 200 scattered across vast distances. The school operates as a single teacher institution with 6 to 12 students. In 1893, the town installed hydroelectric street lighting from artesian bores, beating Paris and New York. The nearest secondary school is 400 kilometers away in Charleville. Students finishing primary school face the choice between leaving home for boarding school or ending education early. The teacher must prepare students psychologically for the culture shock of leaving outback towns for Brisbane boarding schools. The move from 8 students to 800 is traumatic. The heritage-listed schoolhouse features early 20th century Queensland architecture with high ceilings and thick walls managing heat without air conditioning. Number 7. The Innaminka Regional Reserve School in far northeast South Australia, population officially 12 people. Innaminka sits on Cooper Creek in the Strzelecki Desert, 400 kilometres from the nearest significant settlement. The school operates sporadically, opening when children are in residence and closing when families move. Some years there are no school-age children. The building sits empty, maintained against future need. When operating, the teacher faces extreme isolation, no permanent medical services, fuel station, or grocery store beyond hotel basics. Yet Cooper Creek creates explosions of life when water arrives, and the desert holds significant paleontological sites. This represents Australian education policy at its most idealistic. The government maintains a building and teacher position for a population that may not exist in any given year. Number 8. The Normanton State School in the Gulf of Carpentaria region of far north Queensland. Normanton has 1,000 people, but services hundreds of kilometres into surrounding pastoral country. 20 to 40 students attend, while outlying station children receive School of the Air education. The school sits in crocodile country on the Norman River floodplain. Grounds are fenced for genuine safety as saltwater crocodiles wander into town during wet season flooding. Emergency protocols include crocodile awareness training foreign to Melbourne teachers. The school has operated continuously since 1889, educating generations through droughts, floods, and cyclones. Number 9. The Windorah State School in the Channel Country of southwest Queensland. Windorah represents the quintessential Western Queensland outback town. Population 120 people. The school typically enrolls 8 to 15 students, depending on station staffing patterns. The town sits at the intersection of several stock routes, making it historically significant despite its tiny size. The school building in Windorah is relatively modern, rebuilt after the original structure deteriorated beyond repair. It features solar panels, satellite internet, and air conditioning. But technology cannot solve the fundamental challenge of teaching multi-grade classes in isolation. The Windorah teacher deals with extreme weather patterns unique to the Channel Country. When flood rains arrive, Cooper Creek and its tributaries spread across plains hundreds of kilometers wide, creating an inland sea. The school may be cut off for weeks. Conversely, during drought, dust storms can make outdoor activities impossible. Despite these challenges, Windorah maintains educational standards that rival metropolitan schools. How? The teacher attributes success to parent involvement. In small communities, everyone has a stake in the school's success. Parents volunteer as teacher aides. Station managers provide practical learning opportunities. The entire community becomes the educational team. The school also serves as Windorah's cultural centre. The annual school concert is the town's biggest event. The school library is the only public library for 400 kilometres. The computer lab provides internet access for residents whose homes lack connectivity. The school is infrastructure in the broadest sense. Number 10. The Bedourie State School in the far southwest corner of Queensland, where the landscape transitions from gibber plains to red sand dunes. Bedourie holds a special place in Outback mythology. The town's population hovers around 150, swelling during tourist season when travellers visit the nearby Simpson Desert. The school typically teaches 10 to 20 students, making it one of the larger entries on this list. What makes Bedourie significant is its role as an educational hub. The school coordinates School of the Air programs for children on surrounding stations. The teacher manages not just the classroom students, but also oversees correspondence education for dozens of additional children scattered across hundreds of thousands of square kilometres. The school building in Bedourie is purpose-built for harsh conditions. Thick insulated walls, industrial air conditioning, backup generators, water storage tanks. The infrastructure investment reflects the government's commitment to maintaining educational services regardless of location. The teacher at Bedourie must be part educator, part administrator, part community organiser. They coordinate with the Royal Flying Doctor Service for student health checks. They manage satellite education technology. They liaise with parents hundreds of kilometres away. The job description extends far beyond conventional teaching. Students at Bedourie gain unique perspectives. They understand remoteness not as hardship, but as normal. They develop self-reliance that serves them well later in life. Many return to the region after university, becoming the next generation of station managers, teachers, and community leaders. Number 11. The Barcaldine State School in central Queensland, serving as the railhead for vast pastoral regions to the west. Barcaldine is substantially larger than previous entries, with a population around 1,500 people. But its inclusion on this list reflects its historical and continuing role as the educational anchor for incredibly remote regions. The school teaches students who travel from stations up to 200 kilometres away, boarding in town during term and returning home for holidays. The school's history intertwines with Australian Labor history. Barcaldine was the birthplace of the Australian Labor Party, formed during the Great Shearers' Strike of 1891. The school has educated the children of shearers, station owners, and railroad workers for over a century. Modern Barcaldine State School faces different challenges than tiny one-teacher schools. With a student body of around 200, it maintains multiple grade levels and specialised teachers, but it still serves as the educational hub for an area of profound isolation. Children from outlying stations board with town families or in school-provided accommodation. The psychological impact of this arrangement cannot be overstated. Children as young as 5 or 6 leave their families to attend school. They see their parents on weekends if distance permits, or only during school holidays. This sacrifice for education shapes outback childhood in ways urban Australians rarely consider. The Barcaldine teachers balance academic instruction with pastoral care for boarders. They become surrogate parents for children whose families live hours away. This emotional labour, combined with teaching responsibilities, creates unique professional demands. Number 12. The Julia Creek State School in the heart of northwest Queensland's cattle country. Julia Creek, population around 500 people, represents the upper limit of isolation for this list. The school is substantial by outback standards, with around 80 students and multiple teachers. But its service area extends across McKinley Shire, one of Australia's largest and most sparsely populated local government areas. The school coordinates education for station children across thousands of square kilometres. Some families live 300 kilometres from town, making daily attendance impossible. These children rely on School of the Air, combined with periodic residential stays in Julia Creek. The teaching staff at Julia Creek includes specialists in distance education. They broadcast lessons via radio and satellite internet. They prepare comprehensive lesson packages sent via mail. They travel to remote stations to assess student progress and deliver intensive teaching blocks. This model represents the evolution of Outback education. Rather than expecting families to choose between living on the land and educating their children, the system adapts to serve both needs. It is not perfect. Distance education cannot fully replicate classroom learning, but it preserves communities that would otherwise collapse. The Julia Creek School also serves as a training ground for teachers entering Outback education. Many begin their careers here before moving to more isolated postings. They learn to teach across grade levels, manage limited resources, and work within tight-knit communities where professional and personal boundaries blur. What have we learned from this journey across Australia's most isolated schools? First, isolation does not equal poor educational outcomes. Students from remote schools often match or exceed metropolitan averages. The individual attention combined with real-world learning creates educational advantages, offsetting the challenges of remoteness. Second, these schools perform functions far beyond formal education. They serve as community centres, libraries, medical clinics, and cultural hubs. They are infrastructure as critical as roads or towers. Third, the teachers who staff these schools demonstrate dedication deserving recognition. They live isolated from family and friends. They work in harsh climates with minimal support, managing complex logistics across grade levels. These are exceptional individuals who believe every child deserves education regardless of geography. But we must acknowledge the challenges threatening these schools. Aging infrastructure, difficulty recruiting qualified teachers, the drift of population toward coastal cities. Technology helps, but satellite internet cannot replace human presence. School of the Air supplements, but does not substitute for classroom learning. The question Australia faces is whether we maintain this commitment regardless of cost. A school serving 3 students costs far more per student than suburban schools serving 300. Is that investment justified? The answer reflects our national values. These 12 schools represent an ideal. That citizenship includes the right to education, that we do not abandon communities because they are remote, that the children of station workers deserve the same opportunities as Sydney children. So what do you think? Should Australia continue funding schools in communities of less than 100 people? Is distance education sufficient, or do remote children need physical schools? Have you experienced Outback education yourself, either as a student or teacher? Share your perspective in the comments below. We value substantive discussion in this community. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel for more documentaries about remote Australia and the communities that define our Outback. Hit the notification bell so you never miss our coverage of the places most channels ignore. Thank you for watching this journey across the most isolated schools in Australia. Until next time, stay curious about the edges of our continent.